Academic excellence, history pride, and the beat of the drumline. Today, there is a spotlight shining on historically black colleges and universities as HBCU alumni emerge as the new power brokers in American politics. Graduates like Stacey Abrams, who attended Spelman, and newly elected Senator Raphael Warnock.
I went to Morehouse College on a full faith scholarship.
And the first woman to be vice president, Kamala Harris.
We met bright-eyed 17-year-olds coming into Howard University as freshmen. She had a very clear sense of purpose.
There is no coincidence that all of these game changers come out of HBCUs.
From the Deep South to Medgar Evers College in the heart of Brooklyn, the nation's 107 HBCUs make up just 3% of 2- and 4-year colleges, yet they award 17% of all bachelor degrees earned by black students.
I wanted to go to school with students that looked like me.
For more than 180 years, HBCUs have been more than just a place to earn a degree.
I chose Clark because I'm an activist, and I know that Clark is known for leaders of social change.
HBCUs founded in the dark night of slavery.
More than 25 years before the end of slavery in 1837, Cheney became the first college committed to educating black students. At the time, it was against the law in most southern states for African Americans to even know how to read. Steeped in a fear, black literacy threatened the institution of slavery.
People wanted to be able to write a pass to go from one plantation to another or to possibly ultimately escape from slavery.
University of Pennsylvania professor Heather A. Williams studied the narratives of slaves who were punished for simply reading.
They talk about having fingers or a thumb cut off.
An unknown number of slaves learned to read in secret schools, hidden in the woods, fearing whippings and amputations.
And so they had this pit in the ground and they would cover it up with bushes.
When slavery ended, segregation became the new law of the South, and black students were turned away from most colleges. They found opportunity in the schools established to educate the newly free, built by black churches, missionaries, and philanthropists.
I think it represented a lot of hope.
For over a decade, historian Mary Beth Gassman has written about the history, influence, and rise of black colleges.
You really see them growing at a pretty rapid speed in the 1920s and 1930s through the 1940s. The interesting thing that you're seeing during that time is the influence of the Harlem Renaissance.
Icons of the Harlem Renaissance were educated at black colleges. Poet Langston Hughes went to Lincoln University. Zora Neale Hurston studied at Howard. And Clark Atlanta's composer James Weldon Johnson penned, in the fight against racial segregation.
The civil rights movement as we know it started in the church, but as well in the HBCU.
February 1st, 1960. In an act of nonviolent protest, 4 North Carolina A&T freshmen sat down at a segregated Woolworth lunch counter. They refused to leave.
I never have lived with them, and I'm not going to start now.
Their actions have been called the start of a revolution, inspiring other HBCU students, including a young John Lewis at Fisk University. One of the most revered leaders of the movement, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., was a proud graduate of Atlanta's Morehouse.
Ooh, the Morehouse mystique. It's this idea of waking up every morning to live a life that's driven by excellence, but also service.
In 1988, another Morehouse grad, Spike Lee, captured the black college experience in his film, School Days. HBCU enrollment rose in the 1990s, influenced by the hit sitcom A Different World.
When you were applying to colleges, was Hillman your first choice?
Of course.
Today, historically black colleges are in the midst of their latest renaissance, driven in part by America's reckoning with racial injustice.
You don't have to ever ask if Black Lives Matter at a black college, right? It's fundamental.
A 2019 Rutgers University study found racial tensions and the political climate under the Trump administration led to a third of HBCUs seeing a record increase in applications and enrollment.
It's not just enough to get more information. You got to think about what it means to feed and to educate your soul.
Reverend Rashad Raymond Moore never doubted his decision to attend a black college. Today, he runs the First Baptist Church of Crown Heights while studying for his PhD.
Many people think that HBCUs are inferior institutions to a predominantly white school, and I would tell you that that's not the truth.
All right, that was Ann Harry reporting tonight. To watch all of our Created Equal stories, visit our website, pix11.com/createdequal.